Welcome to Backstreet Gossip, news talk, current events, and political commentary with your host, Uncle Ronnie. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Okay.
But we are back.
We don't have near the applause. Well, you know, the lovely and talented Sue Wood has
Well,
now
she
been
cut her hair.
She's been replaced.
Bring Sue back. Sue!
And this is one of our sidekicks, been around forever and ever and ever. This is Eric Wnuck.
Yes.
Uncle Ronnie, good to see you.
I don't know.
Cousin
so much.
Ray.
Hey, Uncle Ray.
And
Uncle
he
Ray.
he is one of the big muckety mucks. Can you spell that? Muckety mucks.
Muckety muck.
Yeah, you're a muckety muck of the
Somebody's
We the
gotta be.
People, Arizona. And he has been doing a dynamite show. I've seen him MC these shows. This guy is a natural.
He's been traveling around the country. They had a massive event in Las Vegas. We were
Yes.
watching that, and you were a total rock star there.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, We the People, AZ Alliance has been doing some amazing
They
things.
thought he was a Rolling Stone.
Just don't call me Mick Jagger
No,
or Cousin Ray.
some amazing things, and you've been helping out with, and you've been monitoring what's been going on with the AZ audit as well. So we understand there's some updates that you want to give us, some things you cannot divulge at this time, but I know that everybody's been waiting. In fact, Sue is here as well recording this because we want to know what's going on. A lot of the mainstream media, as you know, is putting their nose in places that they shouldn't be. They're getting in trouble for doing it as well. And some other outsiders are putting their nose in and trying to get involved in something that they shouldn't. And all these things are happening right here in our little old state of
And
Arizona.
Ray, we may be there's possibility. I've tried to chat with Liz Harris, and we may be patched through to her audience as well right now.
Oh, fantastic.
So
well,
that
hello, Liz, and all of your volunteers. Thank you so much for your hard work.
And they have been working hard.
Oh, my gosh.
So, Eric, tell us, you've been really involved in this thing. I mean, I can't catch up to you. I mean, when you do call me, it's like midnight.
I want to see if you were sleeping.
And I don't answer. I just let it ring. I go, who in the world would call me at midnight? And it's Eric. And so I just wait
Sorry,
till
Uncle
morning.
Ronnie.
Yeah, but on your caller ID, it says bill collector. So it's,
So what's happening there?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. First, just as a point of reference, I semi-disagree with Sue on the fact that it seems like we're chasing, because I got to be honest with you, from my perspective, and it is chaotic, right? I mean, there is a lot of chaos down there. However, I still feel that we are, for the first time in a long time, a step ahead of the Democrats. And thankfully, that has a lot to do with, Judge Martin not issuing the temporary restraining order. It has a lot to do with the fact that if you saw the tweet, I don't know, a couple days ago from Bram Resnick, who said, oh my God, they're pulling out all the Dominion machines. They're going back to the Board of Supervisors. What's going on? We knew what was going on, right? So the ballot images have been captured. So all that information is now in the right hands. So it's just nice to have that step ahead. And the panic that is setting in down there, and you mentioned it earlier, by the media, they're trying to dox everyone. They're trying to get cameras on people so that people are afraid to go down and work. The people I know, the observers we have down there, are steadfast in proving that there was irregularities in this voting process. Go ahead.
One of the things, and you may talk about this, but I was shocked. I've been doing a little research myself. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, the Board of Supervisors has not completed giving the data that was requested by the state Senate. All of the logbooks have not been delivered to the Arizona
What's that
Senate.
tell you, Ron?
It tells me that they're holding this thing hostage once again. And why would you hold it hostage? Seriously, Board of Supervisors, Ray, don't you want to get to the bottom of this? As I said earlier, as an auditor, we audit the process, okay? You keep saying, well, where's your evidence? It doesn't need evidence. You just audit the process. As you audit it, then evidence, one way or the other, evidence that you've done your job properly or that you haven't done your job properly will surface. Now, I would agree with the Democrats. They say everything was done according to Hoyle. Okay, so that means everything is on the straight and narrow. Okay, I believe it is. Let's prove it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I challenge anybody out there, no matter what job you have, do you have a supervisor that checks your work? No matter what you do.
Exactly.
Of course, you have somebody that checks and makes sure that it's done properly. That's what it's there for. It's not to prove that you did a bad job. They're not looking at your work to say, oh, you know, this is wrong. You did this wrong. We're going to punish you for that. No. Anything that you do, and you know, I worked in the cruise industry for years and years and years. We had the Coast Guard come on to make sure that we were compliant according to the rules and regulations that they provide for us. It's the same thing. Was everything done according to Arizona's rules and regulations for the election? What's the big deal? I don't get it.
I'm going to. We were part of a big quasi-confidential meeting in Las Vegas this weekend with Patrick Byrne and Mike Lindell and some others. I want you guys to understand the big picture here, because the fact that Arizona is doing an audit, the Democrats, the deep state, never thought we were going to get to this point. So first you have to thank President Fan and the Judiciary Committee for getting us to this point. Then we really have to thank, you know, some good fortune, some good attorneys, to the fact that here's where we're at. But this is what is, I want you to understand how mind-boggling this is. This is how easy it was for them to steal this election. You have 3,006 counties in America. You only need to have fraud in 6 of those. Maricopa County, Clark County, Detroit, Michigan, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Fulton County, Georgia. So the plan was executed by them. And basically, the cocktail was semi the same in every single county. Mail-in ballots, so irregular mail-in ballots, people getting more than one ballot, because when those come back in, okay, if a person votes and then they have extra ballots, that person gets to vote 3 or 4 times. It wasn't the actual individual voting 4 times. It gave them the space they needed to create extra ballots. That's 1. 2, there were massive problems with the voting machines and being connected to the internet. And I'm telling you right now, in all 6 of those counties, they were connected to the internet. There is proof, and you are going to see something that I've already seen that you guys are going, it should be released by the end of this month, but I'm telling you, it troubles me to my core. Because the fact that it's happened in this country, the greatest country in the world, there are foreign actors interfering in American elections. And it will come out by the end of this month or so. But I went out and bought a brand new alarm system for my house because the things I've seen I can't unsee. On top of that, adjudication. Don't let anyone ever tell you adjudication is a good thing. It's not. Adjudication forces a ballot to be looked at and counted by hand. So here's what they were doing. They would take empty ballots, run them through the tabulation machine, the voting machines, to create an adjudicated ballot. After that ballot was adjudicated as 0, they would then fill in a vote for Joe Biden. So when somebody says to you, adjudication is a good thing, I say to you, you're on crack. Adjudication is terrible. So that cocktail exists in 6 different counties. I believe, just based upon the things that I've been hearing and talking to people, we're going to find that cocktail here in Maricopa County. The audit, in my mind, can't get done soon enough. We need to get this information out to the general public. You will see a lawsuit at the Supreme Court. Whether the Supreme Court acts or does anything upon the information that will be coming out, not just from Maricopa County, but other Mike Lindell and his group. You guys, it's going to make your stomach curdle. It's sickening.
let's just move on here. We've had people here all day asking all types of questions because they knew, I put out that you were going to be here today and that we were going to discuss this issue at length. We know that any of the ballots that came in were mailed ballots needed to be folded, because you don't put a ballot that's this big in an envelope this big. You fold it and put it in a slightly larger than a number 10 envelope. Okay, so now if they've been only folded one time, it's difficult sometimes to see, but they have been doing some work with ultraviolet lights, I believe. Have you witnessed that?
Yes. And that's really about the quality of the paper.
Okay, then the next thing I know, I have one of our listeners just did text me, and he says, I voted in person, and they took my ballot and folded it.
All ballots have been folded that way.
Okay, so
forced
would the
you to
fold
do
be
that.
different on a ballot that was voted in person than a ballot that was voted by mail?
It would be.
Okay, that's good. Now, there's some other issues here. I have heard rumors that some of these Dominion machines actually had SIM cards in them.
That is a true statement.
Okay. Now, what is a SIM card, ladies and gentlemen? If you take one of these beautiful little cell phones, they don't work without a SIM card. They have to have a SIM card in order to be functional. So why would a Dominion equipment have a SIM card in it?
Well, it's for access to Wi-Fi within the actual building itself. A lot which were actually being utilized through temperature gauges on walls. When those were electronic and through Wi-Fi, they would then utilize that to access that particular machine. So while you may not have had a hard wire into the machine
Sure.
itself, you had Wi-Fi access
Well,
to that
I'm
machine.
not hardwired here, and I can get almost anything. I can go around the world with this little piece of equipment here. Now, next question. Let's take the ballots again and the folded ballots and so forth. Now, it is general knowledge amongst those people that have cared to study this that our former recorder actually had $300,000 worth of ballots printed up to mail out to everyone. And of course, Alex Coliseum caught hold of that, and they stopped that thing. Even the Secretary of State said, "You've gone too far here by printing these ballots to mail to everyone," and that was to mail to people that didn't even ask for ballots. And then the next thing, obviously, is that ended up going all the way to the Supreme Court, and yet Mr. Fontes was still in defiance of a lot of the rulings of the court. And I don't know if that's coming into play here. It might be in the final report, certainly.
My gut would tell me that it is going to come into play, because I do believe that all of those ballots that were printed are not accounted for. So if they're not accounted for, they have to be somewhere.
And the real question here is who is, Neil, myself, and Mike, we went to vote in person, and there was a gentleman there that we saw bringing in about 8 or 9 ballots. Okay, and we followed him in. We actually took some photographs of that, and we tried to turn it in. When I got into the polling place, I asked what they did with them, and they just said, well, they just dropped them into the box. I said, but when somebody comes in with 9 ballots, you don't question why he has 9 ballots. Most likely, families aren't that big here in Arizona that you'd have 9 ballots.
Well, they are if they are illegal. No, I'm teasing. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Okay,
That's a
yeah,
joke.
we'll take the hook out of your
Okay,
mouth.
thank you.
Your security system better be working, though.
I pray it is. That and my Doberman are all I got, plus my 45s, my AR-15s. Don't let anybody come near my house.
So, at any rate, but the bottom line here is I asked to speak to the Republican judge. And they said, oh, you've got to speak to this man. He's the troubleshooter. Isn't that correct, Mr. DeSante? You got to speak to the troubleshooter. Well, this guy comes over, and he says, you're causing a scene. You have to leave. And I said, well, wait a minute. I want to speak to the Republican judge. And he said, I'm the troubleshooter here. You have to speak with me. I said, well, who do you work for? He says, Adrian Fontes. Well, Adrian Fontes is the guy that we were believing that might have had something to do with some of the issues that were going on. They were allowing massive amounts of ballots to be dropped off, and they were not challenged. Well, they might have been in some cases, but in this case, they weren't.
This is just one idea for Liz, because I know that she had a list of items of how we should move on for the future. But I think that there should be a bidding process to have one printer on a certain type of paper that prints a certain number of ballots that he says, I have printed a total of this number of ballots, and we count the ballots, and we say, okay, here's how many ballots came in, here's how many were printed, and that's it. And you couldn't receive more ballots than were printed.
So, at any rate, I had a couple of things I did want to speak to you besides that, okay? This is really important. We have this beautiful Coliseum that is pretty secure. We've all been there. It's pretty secure. And the Highway Patrol is also, their offices are right near there. There's a carnival going on there. There are people coming in and leaving with a carnival going on the grounds that should be 100% secured with 3 different security systems in place. Have you seen that?
Yeah, the carnival is there, but from everything I've seen, it's far enough away, and there's no overlap of carnival goers and people working the audit and the media. And should it be there? Probably not. Is it? Yes. Is it a problem? No. Do I think we have plenty of security? Yes.
Additionally, I've heard that now they've got the roads, they've got them all segregated, like they're repairing the roads so that it's difficult for people to get in and out that are volunteering their time.
It's very true. You have one entrance to get into the Coliseum. There's 4 or 5 rangers there when you're met. If you're not on that list, you're not getting in. So
what it appears that was happening, Ray, is I think they're slow walking this thing. They're doing everything they can to slow this process down because they only have the Coliseum for a certain length of time, which is going to have to be extended, in my opinion. You don't just say, well, your time's up, goodbye.
So
you got to finish
what's
the job.
happening with the items that were requested specifically that have not been turned over? Is there a time limit on that?
They need to be turned over, and I don't know whether or not there's a time limit on it. It's been discussed at length. It should already be there. It's frustrating only because, look, everyone deserves a free and fair election, right? All we want is the truth. And I told you this, and I know I've told you this, and I've said this at rallies. If Joe Biden won, good for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll applaud you and say, you know what, I'll suck it up for the next 3.5 years because he won. But doggone it all, I don't believe that he did. There's too many irregularities to believe that he actually won. All of which we just named, the 3 main facets of how this was able to be done. It wasn't done by thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. It was done by small little groups of people, right, that had this idea and was able to execute with the coordination of county recorders. I mean, even Republicans, right, like Brad Raffensperger in Georgia.
Well, we have a Republican Board of Supervisors that is dragging their feet.
Okay.
And it is amazing to me that no one can just stand up and say the clarity of this issue is in doubt with the vast majority of our citizens.
And why is that? And you know exactly why that is. Why is it?
Well, they don't want it to be known.
They don't want it to be known. And where does all the money flow through for elections? The Board of Supervisors, right? So if you then take that and prove that there was nefarious activity, these people are going to be hung out to dry. Yeah. They don't want anyone to expose. Look, you saw Cindy McCain come out the other day on the Politico and say, oh, this is, it's ludicrous that they're doing an audit. Let me tell you something. From all the research and background information and secret squirrel stuff that we've done, this has been going on since 2004. Do you really think that John McCain beat J.D. Hayworth in that primary? He didn't. And I'm here to tell you he didn't. And we have the proof to prove it. So the bottom line is that Cindy McCain, you don't know what you're talking about. And the more you talk, the more it pisses me off. So stop talking.
Well, here's another thing with Cindy McCain that really bothers me. She's speaking as though she is speaking for the Republican Party.
She voted for Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean, she supported him. She did commercials for Joe Biden. Then she goes on CNN this weekend, and I'm speaking for the Republican Party. We think this is a bunch of nonsense. Well, wait a minute. You're not speaking for the Republican Party. There was even question, in my opinion, I know a lot of you will argue that, but I don't think John McCain was a true blue Republican.
He wasn't. Look, all we want is a fair shake in life, right?
I know where you got that opinion that he wasn't true blue. Because when I first met you, you were a McCain guy.
I was a McCain guy at one time, and I don't hold that against me.
Well, I'm the one who worked with you and got you to finally see the light.
You did. That was 2010. I apologize. But
Right here on radio, you heard it first, right here on Hub Radio.
I do apologize. Listen, I can only say this, and I mean this. If I cheated or if I thought that my team cheated, I would certainly ask the other side, okay, let's dive in this together and let's come up and find out what happened. They don't want to. I mean, Katie Hobbs is out there adamant. Oh, there's nothing wrong. I don't believe that.
You mean the
Adrian
Katie
Johnson-
Hobbs that in 2018 tweeted that if you're a Trump supporter, you are a neo-Nazi.
And also
that
stated
Katie Hobbs?
And also stated Republicans will never win again. Right? I mean, she's also stated that. The bottom line is this.
Great public servant.
Oh, my goodness. Look, we're for the people and by the people, right? If we're not for everyone, we're not for anyone. The bottom line is you have censored me. You have rubbed Scottsdale Studios off of YouTube. You've canceled our Twitter accounts. Look, this is what upsets me by the left in this country, and especially the media in this state and in this country. Doggone it, you're part of the problem. The problem is this didn't start with gas chambers in Germany killing Jews. This started because people allowed this to happen.
Right.
This is why it started. Because nobody bothered to fight back. Everybody, take my guns, that's fine. Let's wrap Jewish people up with armbands so we know they're Jews. And now we're going to take them to the concentration camp and kill them. That's exactly where we're at right now. We're in Germany, 1939, and the media is the biggest problem in perpetuating this upon all of us. I'm done with it. I'm over with it.
Yeah.
What Ken Bennett said yesterday, he's going to count every damn ballot. You're darn right he is. And at the end of the day, whatever the facts are, that's what the facts will be. But I'm telling you, right now, as God is my witness, the facts are on our side. That's the bottom line.
You know, it seems like there's a lot of distractions going on, right? Whether it's the press coming in and videotaping people and
Carnivals, roads being blocked off.
But then also there was a Supreme Court case where somebody wanted to be included in. We had her on the show. We had talked to her. Tell us a little bit about the recent Supreme Court decision not to hear this case.
Yeah,
This was Stacey Burke, whom we had
Stacey
on
Burke.
last
Look,
week.
I'm going to say this because it's your show. Look, and this is my opinion, okay? So I'm only going to give you, I think Stacey Burke is a plant. I find it super irrelevant. Why is it that everything seems to happen to Stacey Burke? She happens to find the Korean air ballots. Really?
But you know who was there taking the pictures.
I know who was there. He's my buddy. He's your buddy
Yeah.
too. I know he was there because I saw the video of it.
Right.
But somehow she's the one that releases it. Why is it that in Georgia there were yellow bags with DHL bags that were thrown in the trash with shredded ballots? All of a sudden, 2 months later in Arizona, there's a DHL yellow bag that has shredded ballots. Something doesn't add up. Now she's suing the Supreme. Look, as far as I'm concerned, Stacey Burke wants to stop the audit. I don't know why. I don't really care why. But I would never give, and I don't know her. I've never talked to her in my life. I would never give her any credence at all, ever. I think she's trying to stop the audit. I think she's intentionally doing this. And honestly, the Supreme Court was good to throw it out. Now she's talking about, oh, this is great news because now it gets to go through the federal system. Stop. Just stop. If anybody gives Stacey Burke any credence at all or gives her a platform, I don't want to talk to you because she's bad for business. Sorry, that's just my opinion.
Well, you know, it just seems like there's a lot of distractions. Everybody's trying to distract from something that's very basic, is that we, the people, are double checking to make sure that our elected officials did everything according to the way that it is in the rules of the state of Arizona. How difficult is that?
You know, Ray, it's kind of interesting.
They should
A lot
be
of people
accountable
don't-
to the people.
A lot of people don't know this, but I actually went to school.
You
and
did?
when I was
Do you have
in
a degree
college,
to prove that? Because
yeah, 98.6 is my degree. But, you know, it's really funny. I took an exam, and I thought I deserved an A, but the teacher gave me a B. And I asked him to review the questions that he asked and the questions that I said I had a different answer than he did. And he was kind enough to actually do that. I explained my answers, and he said, "You're right. I did not consider that when I wrote the test. You could answer that question either way." I won't go into the details of the question, but when I explained it, he said, "You're right." And he changed my grade to an A. Yay, what a good boy. And, you know,
show us the gold
the
stars.
only A he ever got.
but
by
the
the
Show
way.
us
bottom
the gold
line,
stars.
the bottom line is we must challenge the system.
Well, it's our
Question-
duty. It
Question
is our
authority.
duty to
Come on,
channel-
all you guys out there that had these signs, question authority. And most of you were lefties. Question the authority. You were the ones that did it, and now we're questioning authority, and you're upset about it.
Crazy.
I ran my own business for 14 years. Every year I had to do an annual audit to prove to my
course.
investors that I had a fiduciary responsibility to prove that everything that I was doing was correct.
Yes.
And was, we crossed our T's, dotted our I's, and every penny was accounted for.
Now, did you moan and whine and hire attorneys to make sure that didn't happen?
No, and I never called my investors Nazis.
Okay, so how is it? Again, I challenge anybody out there who has a job, who works for somebody else, who does not think that they could be audited at any time. Makes no sense.
Makes zero
All right,
sense.
so where are we at right now with the audit? How many ballots approximately have been counted?
Well, I can give you rough estimates. You're probably looking at between 44 and 50,000 a day. I don't think I'm breaking news here, but I do know that there will be extra shifts added. So I think that's public knowledge, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
public knowledge, so there's no breaking news there. I think you're going to need longer than the 14th, like Uncle Ronnie said. I just do.
Is there provision for that from the Senate?
There is.
Okay.
There is. I have to tell you, and we have a lot of good friends in this, from Sue Wood at Scottsdale Studios to Alex Colden, one of the attorneys, to President Fan. I can't be more proud of Republicans right now.
And let's give a shout out to Eddie Farnsworth.
And Eddie too
Oh,
for starting the
absolutely.
whole
I
thing,
mean, when
right?
we first started this thing, this guy had, well over 600,000 views on
Yeah.
on the work that he did with
And
us.
it started the last term. So,
Oh, yeah.
and that would have been happening. Now, speaking of the legislature, sine die.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it.
Do you find that some of them are supporting it?
Yes.
Some Republicans are supporting this?
There are a couple.
All right, I would get on the phone to your representative, to your senator, wherever you are, and tell them that they cannot end this session until they get the results from this audit. They can't do it. Tell us how everything would be affected if they sine die, meaning they close the session out for this year.
The problem,
what would happen?
Well, the problem becomes this: if they sine die, that you
Sine
can
die, so that you know out there what sine die is, it means goodbye until next year.
I think
The
I just said
session-
that, but
the session is over. It cannot be called back
Right.
other than the governor. is
Right.
What my point
Well,
is.
there's two issues that I see. One, while they're in session, they can't be sued, so they have immunity. So I would never sine die while I have such an event as an audit going on to prove if there truly was fraud. So first of all, I wouldn't do that. But more importantly, you just said it. All the power goes back to whom?
The governor.
The governor. Why would you give that power up at a moment in time like this?
Especially knowing that he certified the election.
While President Trump was calling him.
So,
That's right.
And
Wow.
I don't know if you guys know this, but if you follow Patrick Byrne on Telegram, I don't know if you know this, but you do know there's an intelligence plane circling the Coliseum right now.
That's what I've heard. There is a drone that is.
So they are, and it's more of an intimidation factor, right? So, but I told everybody in there they should all go out and flip this drone the bird and show
didn't
'em
we
what
see
really
this
think,
in the
you know?
Terminator movies?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, really.
It's you guys. We're living in 1984. This is a scary proposition. The country we grew up in, it no longer exists.
All right,
It doesn't
so
exist.
so with regard to the legislature, have they made provision that, because I know there was a lot of bills out there, but you probably know this better than I do. So there was supposed to be something that said if an emergency was called upon by the governor, that after 30 days he would have to call the session back in?
Yes, but that gives them 30 days.
Right, but I mean,
That's too long.
was that passed?
I believe that actually passed. Yes.
See,
But it's just too long.
a recess is different from an adjournment. Now let's look at what happened last year. Okay, this is case in point. The House did not sine die. They did not go when all of this COVID was looming, and there was some bills there that really needed to be passed. They went to the Senate, and 3 Republicans joined the Democrats in sine die. Well, you can't have one house that's open and the other house closed, so we did the sine die thing, okay? It closed down all year long. The governor had complete and absolute authority over what went on in this state of Arizona, and we know everybody can see what happened. I mean, it's just about destroyed our economy. It just destroyed people's lives.
But there should be a mechanism where if they sine die, that the people can rise up and demand that they go back into session. There should be something like that.
That's a good idea, but at this point, it's not going to work. The idea here, we have to stop them from adjourning.
We have to.
They must.
They can't do
if
it.
they do anything,
Can't
it just
do
can. They just have to extend it. Even if it's hey, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be assigned homework.
No, right. I mean, there's no reason to sine die. There's what for? Why would anyone even risk that right now?
Well, for vacation.
I know, but who wants the vacation when it's 120 degrees in
Listen,
Arizona?
Maui has some great deals. You fly over there.
Right, exactly. No kidding.
And you quarantine for 14 days.
But right, exactly. But again, I just want to get back to this point, and I am all for open and transparent elections. I'm all for open and transparent
as
media.
are we, and everybody should be.
All we ask is, look, let's see the facts.
See it through.
See it through. That's it. See it through. I just want to see it through.
Well, for instance, and this is one of the things that's troubling. I mean, we all saw these massive Trump rallies here, and we all also know that when Biden and Kamala came here, and there was nobody at that rally downtown. Now, let's fast forward to just this past week. Trump was getting about 48 million people, between maybe 38 and 48 million people watching the State of the Union address. Biden got 11 million. Now, you're telling me that this guy got 80 million votes, more than Obama did, more than anybody has ever had.
And now nobody wants to see him.
Nobody wants to even listen to him on the TV.
Nobody wasn't even in the chamber. The chamber was a third full. Nobody wants to hear the guy.
Yeah. And wasn't he just in Georgia?
Yeah.
And there were people in cars. It's like a drive-in movie.
Honking horns. That's about,
Look, all you need to know about this guy is he thinks Corn Pop is a bad dude. If you think Corn Pop is a bad dude,
I
you
thought
should
it was
never
a
be
breakfast
president.
cereal.
So did I. Hey, look, he's accomplished one thing we know that he can do that no one else can do. He can actually fall upstairs. So the guy can, look.
No, wait.
He can do one thing. We
hold
can't.
on. You knew that was a windy day.
That's right. It was
Wind
blowing
just
him from
blew
behind,
up.
right? So, look. And I'm saying this because I know that there's someone in the media watching this right now, and I mean this. Look, I will go have a beer with you, but doggone it, you gotta report truthfully. You have to report the facts. Stop painting it a way that you want it to be painted, because it doesn't exist that way.
But it doesn't fit the narrative.
But that's the point. The point is I don't care about the narrative anymore. What I care about is the truth. Narratives are out the door. The truth is all that matters, period. That's it. So,
But is it your truth?
My
or
truth?
Ron's truth? Or see, that's what they play on.
But the point
that
is
truth is not relative.
After the audit, I will let it lie. If my guy won, great. If your guy won, great. I'll be done with it. But I'm here to tell you right now that I know for a fact, and I deal in facts, my guy won. I'm telling you right now, I will take that to the grave with me. My guy won. I know he won, and he won by at least 10 million votes. This was close to 81 million to 69 million for Joe Biden. Trump got 81 million votes. Biden got 69 million. This thing is so corrupt. The deep state, the whole thing. China, their fingerprints are all over this, you guys. I'm telling you, we have the information. We have the proof.
What are the countries? Can you divulge some of the countries that have been involved?
I will tell you China and Italy. That's what I will tell you.
Especially China. Everyone knows.
Okay, so why
that China
Italy? Why Italy?
Bribes.
Yeah? No, but they
bribes.
Well, there were a lot of Chinese actually in Italy, believe it or not.
Well, that's why the coronavirus spread to Italy
right,
so
exactly.
quickly, because
it was there
they use the immigrants from China.
Right. Now, getting back to this whole concept, those of you that didn't see the numbers that I developed back, at least 4 months ago, if you want to see that, please fill out the comments when you see on Hub Radio Phoenix, and I'll go through that again if there's enough people that want to see the numbers. There's no way that Biden got 80 million votes. It's just impossible.
Do you think that he actually knows that?
I don't think he does.
Or do you think that he is living that delusion?
I think he's living a delusion.
I don't think he remembers. I don't even think he wakes up in the morning and remembers he's president.
For the president to say, oh, I better do this, otherwise I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah,
I'm going to get in
and
trouble if I answer questions.
you know, Ray,
I'm going to get
that's
in trouble if I wear a mask.
that's-
If I can't find my mask.
That's a good point. He's almost like a child. It's just saying, yeah, you know, if I stay out after dark, I'm in trouble. You know, if
He
the street
wants to
lights
put
come
the
on
hat
and
on.
I'm not
He's a
home, I'm in
puppet.
trouble.
You guys, he's a puppet.
Listen, we're gonna have to close this segment out real soon here. Eric, gosh, you got to come back here, brother.
I will.
I mean, you're just a wealth of information. He's just such a great spokesperson.
Tell us, can you tell us just briefly what's happening with We the People AZ Alliance? What's going on with that?
You know, we just finished a massive rally. We kicked off a Nevada chapter the first week of April. They have an assembly bill out there that basically wants to legalize a mail-in ballot for everyone. Just creating more trouble, right? So we've kicked that off. We're fortunate enough we're having a massive rally at Dream City Church on May 22nd. We're going to have Patrick Byrne. We're going to have the Papadopouloses. It's really a faith, freedom, and a fight. It really was designed to be more of a celebration, come together, because you know what? At the end of the day, I truly believe that even though we may have started behind the 8 ball, I really believe we're going to win. And I think it's time Republicans unite and stick together and really fight for constitutional conservatives moving forward. So it's going to be from 10 to 5. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have people that are running for office.
And what's the date on that?
May 22nd, Saturday, May 22nd, Dream City Church. So
Okay.
I know that
Now
Scottsdale
that's off
Studios will
Cave-
be
Cave Creek.
videotaping that for me.
What is that,
So-
Cave Creek north of Thunderbird?
No, that's the 75th Avenue
Oh,
location.
okay.
So
We're
we're
northwest Phoenix.
Yeah,
right?
Northwest
75th?
Phoenix, exactly.
Off the 101 and 75th Avenue,
yeah,
I think. Yeah,
101 and
just
75th
north, yeah.
Avenue. Yeah. So it'll be good.
Wow.
Okay, I
Now,
hear
how do
You're
they
all
get-
invited.
How do they get in touch with We the People AZ Alliance?
Very simple. www.wethepeopleUSAalliance.com. WeThePeopleUSAalliance.com. We're fighting for Arizona first.
Yeah.
All right. Eric Wnuck, it's always a pleasure. You're going to
Pleasure's
have to
mine,
come
Uncle
back
Ronnie.
and visit us more often. And we want you to stay tuned because we are going to deal with some really interesting subjects. We're going to deal with COVID vaccinations, the truth and the myth. So don't go away. We'll be right back.